MMA is one of the fastest growing sports in the world, and every year, new fighters emerge as the future of the sport. Some come in with hype and deliver immediately, while others take time to develop before exploding onto the scene. But one thing is certain, seeing a fighter rise from a prospect to a world-class contender is one of the most exciting parts of being a fan. In 2024, we saw several rising stars make their mark, and now, with 2025 here, it's time to look ahead. Who are the next superstars ready to take over their divisions? Who has the skills, mindset, and potential to become future champions? Stick around as we break down the names you need to know heading into this year. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest MMA content. Let's get into it. Gene Silva. Gene Silva is the kind of fighter who makes you stop and watch. In 2024, he earned an honorable mention on our breakthrough fighters list. And honestly, it was well deserved. This guy went 3-0 last year, and not just against anyone. He took out Weston Wilson, Charles Jourdain, and Drew Dober, all by knockout. That's no small feat, especially when you consider Jourdain and Dober are seasoned UFC veterans. Silva's ability to finish fights in such dramatic fashion has made him a fan favorite, and it's clear he's only getting started. What's really impressive about Silva is his versatility. He's primarily a featherweight, but he's not afraid to jump up to lightweight if the opportunity arises. His fight against Dober, for example, was at 155 pounds, and it turned out to be his biggest win yet. Silva's willingness to fight anywhere, at any weight, shows just how confident and adaptable he is. At 28 years old, he's still improving, and with the momentum he's built, the future looks incredibly bright for him. Whether he's competing at 145 or 155 pounds, one thing's for sure. Gene Silva is a name you'll be hearing a lot more of in 2025. Michael Morales. Michael Morales is one of those fighters who makes you think this guy is going to be a champion someday. At just 25 years old, he's already 17-0, and his potential is through the roof. In 2024, he was an honorable mention on our breakthrough fighters list, but honestly, he could have easily been higher. The only downside? He only fought once last year, leaving fans hungry for more. Morales first caught everyone's attention back in 2021 when he stunned UFC CEO Dana White with a dominant performance on the Contender Series. Since then, he's been on a tear, winning his first 5 UFC fights, including a first-round knockout of Neil Magny. That win was a statement, and it's clear Morales is ready for bigger challenges. A top 15 opponent is likely next, and if he keeps performing the way he has, it won't be long before he's in the title picture. The welterweight division is stacked, but Morales has all the tools to rise to the top. Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot was an absolute force in 2024, and it's no surprise he earned a spot on Uncrowned's all-violence first team. This guy is a finisher, plain and simple. Heading into his UFC debut in late 2023, Talbot was already undefeated, but he really turned heads with his performances last year. After a third-round rear-naked choke win over Nick Aguirre, he faced fellow top prospect Cameron Simon and absolutely dominated him, securing a second-round knockout. But Talbot wasn't done there. He followed that up with a jaw-dropping 19-second stoppage of Yanis Gamori at UFC 303. At just 26 years old, Talbot is already showing he's on a different level. The bantamweight division is one of the deepest in the UFC, but Talbot has the skills and the killer instinct to make a serious run. His next fight against Raoni Barcelos at UFC 311 is another chance to prove he's the real deal. If he keeps this up, 2025 could be a breakout year for him. Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal is one of those fighters who came into the UFC with sky-high expectations, and for the most part, he's lived up to them. A world-class collegiate wrestler, Nickal made his pro MMA debut in 2022 and has been on a tear ever since. Well, almost. His fight against Paul Craig at UFC 309 was a bit of a head-scratcher. Nickal won by decision, but it wasn't the dominant performance fans have come to expect from him. That said, Nickal showed a different side of his game in that fight, his striking. He pitched a shutout against Craig on the feet, which was surprising given his wrestling background. While it wasn't his most exciting fight, it showed Nickal is willing to experiment and grow as a fighter. At 28 years old, he's still developing, but he's already light years ahead of where most fighters are at this stage in their careers. Nickal's next fights will likely be against bigger names, and you can bet he'll be looking to get back to his dominant grappling ways. The future is still incredibly bright for this Penn State alum. Kennedy Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu has been a promising talent since earning his UFC contract, but he struggled with consistency in the light heavyweight division. At 6 feet 5, cutting to 205 pounds took a toll on him, limiting his potential. However, moving up to heavyweight has completely changed the game for him. He made his heavyweight debut with an impressive win over Chris Barnett in Abu Dhabi, and followed that up with another stoppage victory against Łukasz Brzeski just 2 months later. Now, training with Stephen Wright at War Room MMA, he has access to bigger training partners, helping refine his skill set. Kennedy has endured plenty of personal challenges outside the octagon, but he's finally hitting his stride at the right time. If he keeps building on this momentum, he could quickly rise through the heavyweight ranks. With his size, power, and ever-improving skill set, he's shaping up to be a dangerous contender. Given the right opportunities and matchups, Nzechukwu might just surprise everyone and establish himself as a real force in the division. Keep an eye on him. His best is yet to come. Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer is a fighter you can't ignore. After suffering a tough loss to Jack Hermanson, some doubted his potential. But for those who saw the fight closely, it wasn't a setback, it was a learning experience. Pyfer started strong, but faded as the fight progressed, exposing areas he needed to work on. Instead of dwelling on the loss, he made the necessary adjustments and came back with a statement win. At UFC 303, Pyfer delivered a stunning 85-second knockout of Marc-Andre Barriol, reminding everyone why he's such a dangerous middleweight. His knockout power is undeniable, and when he's in top form, he's a problem for anyone in the division. The biggest obstacle in his path isn't talent, it's staying healthy. Between lingering injuries and frequent illnesses during camp, he hasn't been able to fight as often as he'd like. But if he can maintain consistency, he has all the tools to break into the top 10. He's right on the cusp, and a few more strong performances could see him making a serious title run. Don't sleep on Pyfer. He's only getting better. Esteban Ribovics. If you're looking for one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, look no further than Esteban Ribovics. This guy is all action, all the time. His fight against Daniel Zellhuber at Noche UFC was an absolute war, delivering one of the most thrilling bouts of 2024. Before that, he made headlines with a devastating 37-second head kick knockout of Terrence McKinney, proving that he's got serious finishing ability. With a record of 14-1, Ribovics is firmly establishing himself as a rising star in one of the UFC's most competitive divisions. His aggressive style and ability to put on crowd-pleasing fights make him a must-watch talent. But he's more than just entertainment. He's a real contender in the making. One area he needs to shore up is his takedown defense. When facing strong wrestlers, he's been tested, and that's something he'll need to improve to climb higher in the rankings. However, with his relentless pressure, knockout power, and growing skill set, he's got everything he needs to make a big impact. Ribovics is one to watch. Don't be surprised if he becomes a household name soon. Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next one.